Good morning, dears. Welcome to our history section. Today we discuss about the Cholas as the case study of Chola dynasty, and also we mention the names of other dynasties like Pallava dynasty. And can you see the image of Pallava dynasty? Then also the Pandya dynasty. And with Cholas, we just mentioned the names of both the Pallava and also the Pandya dynasties. These three dynasties were constantly at war of expanding their boundaries. Then, under Chola, the establishment of certain institutions along with the emergence of certain cultural forms determined the pattern of living in the south and partially influenced the lifestyle elsewhere in the peninsula. In Chola dynasty, there was two major kings. They were the Vijayalaya Chola and also the Rajendra Chola. Cholas were considered as the most important dynasty in the subcontinent at this time. That is at the time of Vijayalaya Chola and also the Rajendra Chola. In the middle of 9th century, Vijayalaya of the Chola dynasty conquered the region of Tanjavur. Then Cholas spread their territory by annexing the Pallavas territory in 10th century. Parandaka first came and ruled for almost a half of 9th century. Then we discuss about the ruling period of Chola dynasty. They established with an acquired position of Rajaraja Chola, that is in 985 to 1014 to the throne. Later Rajendra, his son, consolidated the Chola rule. Rajaraja Chola and also his son Rajendra were campaigned in all directions. Firstly, they attacked the alliance of Cheras in Kerala, then Sri Lanka and also the Pandyas in order to break their monopoly of trade with West Asia. In 1021 to 1022, the famous northern campaign, Rajendra reached the north of country and he went on an overseas expedition against the king of Sri Vijaya in Southeast Asia. Expedition means it is the journey for a particular purpose, especially in a war. Then successor of Rajendra first focused their attention on the conflict in the peninsula. Next is the Kulatunga first. It was also the an empire in the Chola dynasty, and he was the not an emperor, it is the ruler, and he have sent an embassy of 72 merchants to China in 1077, and this shows the Kulatunga Chola's picture. Can you see it clearly? No. Then we discuss about the land grants under Cholas. Major landowning classes were the Brahmanas and also the Vellalas, and the land granted to the person's services to the king. Then the religious beneficiaries also provided the lands by the Chola dynasty. The granted land were wet in nature and they are already used for cultivation purpose, and these land were with well irrigational facilities. Next, we discuss about the agriculture in Chola period. It was considered as an impressive irrigation system with the dams and rivers, and the organization of labor should involve at village level and across the villages. Then the landowners must have the control for forcing the laborers into organized sector. Next, we discuss about the administration in the Chola period. The state was organized into territorial administrative units, and there also follows the standardized taxation. Village assembly is considered as the central to the Chola's administration, and the royal officials also participating in the village assembly, but just as advisors and also the observers. And the village assembly enjoy a fair amount of self-governance. Then there will be the large villages, then they are divided into smaller divisions. Then there is the smaller assembly representing its households. Functions of assembly is different according to the local conditions. Then the members of these assemblies were adult males and also the head of house. There also the small executive body called Sabha. They are having the same function of assemblies. Then villages were grouped together under a Nadu. Then should be there is the Nagaram, that is the center of exchange within Nadus. Then the group of Nadus is called as Valanadus or Mandalams. Next we discuss about the famous inscription called Uttarmerur inscription of Chingalpet, and it provides us the details about the organization of Sabha. And then for membership, the eligible people have the loads, means they follows the method of taking loads. Then the criteria for membership. First one is owners of land having land revenue. Second one, owners having the homes for themselves. Then third, age limit is 35 to 70 years. Then the owners having the knowledge in Vedas. Then the well knowledge, they also have the well knowledge in administrative matters and should be honest. Next we discuss about the towns and markets in Chola period. The towns were called as Pattanams and they were the center for exchange. Then the towns having two purposes, that is considered as the administrative centers and the places of pilgrimage. Then goods were exchanged as regular basis. Then the regular markets and also the Pattanams were the major sources of revenue. Then most of productions were aims for local consumption. Then the overseas trade also in the case of costly items like elephants, spices, perfumes, precious stones, etc. Next we discuss about the emergence of temples. Temple architecture changed the designs from earlier road cut temple into independent structures. In Chola period, the temple were considered as the major point for trade and administration. Temple were working with the help of grants from village assemblies, then merchants guilds, means merchant associations, and also from the royal grants, means the grants from royal families. Cholas were considered as an excellent in the art of sculpture. It means the making shape of wood, metal, and also stones. Then the images of gods and goddesses were made in stone and also in bronze. These pictures of temple shows the art of sculpture during the Cholas period. How beautifully they created and also built these temples. The dancing image of Lord Shiva in bronze is one of the achievements in the field of sculpture during the Chola period. So okay dears, I will stop here, and this is only the remaining concept we have to discuss in this chapter. So try to prepare the notes clearly. Thank you. Have a nice day to you.